Welcome back, everybody. The History Guy here. This is episode 9 in Millennium Dawn, a Hearts of Iron 4 modern day mod. I'm playing as the Empire of Germany under Kaiser Georg Friedrich the First, I believe, if I remember that correctly. Yes, sir. Right there he is, Georg Friedrich the First. He is of the Hohenzollern monarchy, which ruled Germany until after the First World War. Just to kind of reset the stage a little bit, we are now in the process of the invasion of India. I sent a expeditionary force there to kind of break that stalemate because China didn't seem interested in pushing through. So I've just taken Delhi, their capital. So they've now moved their capital down to Mumbai, down here on the coast. It'll take a while to get there. But things are going pretty well. And lo and behold, right about the time that that all happened, India went and joined NATO, which only had one country, Canada, and that brought Canada into the war. So Canada now becomes one of the most powerful nations, second only to the United States in terms of the available divisions that they have. So it's going to be interesting to see how that affects the war moving forward. That gives a boost to things that weren't there before. We have now called Ethiopia into what is being known as the Chinese-American War or the Chinese-Canadian War. Still, with all of that said, still an advantage in terms of the casualties inflicted as well as in overall manpower. And fairly soon, what is this here? France wants our help in their war efforts. Ethiopia and Brazil, yeah, that's fine. We're just merging everything together. So I guess what we need to do now is just continue to push through. Did I draw? I don't think I drew that line. Yeah, maybe I did. But right now we're just kind of mopping up things here. We've got a bunch of Indian divisions that can be destroyed because they've been encircled at this point. So India's basically out of this war at this point. There's really very little left that they're going to be able to do. What is going on now? We've merged some wars. All right. Oh, man. Here we go. Here we go. What in the heck just happened? I think we just added another wrinkle to this war. It looks like the African coalition. Eritrea and Belize. I'm not entirely sure why Belize and their one division are a part of an African coalition. But yeah, this war just got a little bit more interesting in adding Canada and now some nations of Africa. And it looks like just basically everybody's falling into place from both allies in that war. And it has pushed things back. It was at 10%. Now it's only at 7% in favor of the aggressors. So we'll keep an eye on things for a little while here. And we just saw another nuke go off, this time in Kolkata, over here on the eastern edge of India. So, man, if I just sit here and keep watching, I'll probably see this repeatedly. But China is obviously repeatedly nuking India. And that's largely probably what turned the tide in this war and caused India to fall out of it, and to the point now where they've only got 39 divisions left. So we've got a new research slot available. I'll have nukes in about 4 months. Just kind of look down here at improve heavy equipment. So just little things I can do to keep my economy roaring. Oh, yes, and that reminds me. Several of you have pointed out the fact that the reason that I didn't see an immediate change in manpower when I made the changes to mobilization and conscription is that now with the new update, it doesn't happen quite as quickly. So we're going to go back to partial mobilization because honestly I don't need, what I need more than anything right now is, we're going to go to service by requirement here. So those two changes, eventually we should start seeing a difference. So we'll just have to kind of watch for that to take place over time. The FIFA World Cup. I have a hard time believing that anyone would be participating in a World Cup right now with everything that's going on, but I don't think the game engine takes that into consideration. So we're continuing to press south, and it looks like China has decided to finally send some units to help out with all of this. We really need to push this here and kind of finish these guys off, but it looks like for now we're just kind of containing them in favor of moving south. My casualties are up to 200,000 now, so definitely a huge increase in the amount of losses that I've suffered. But it pales in comparison to those of China, France, Poland, Spain, Ethiopia now, and Germany. That's where I rank on the list. So India's lost almost 3 million just on their own. The Americans have lost almost 1 million. Let's see what's happening, if anything is happening over here in Taiwan, this is what started it all. Still nothing happening there. So just a reminder, the other thing I have going is that I'm currently in the process of staging a coup in Italy, and I've got troops lined up on the border of the state where that coup is going to get started, right here in Piedmont, and the goal is that I'll rush my troops in there to help push that coup and make it be successful. It's going to be a monarchist coup. In the meantime, I'm thinking about other countries where I might do the same, and one possibility right now is Slovakia, which is a socialist republic. So I think I'll probably go ahead and start the process of starting a monarchist coup in Slovakia. It's going to take a little while, of course, to do that as well, but they border one of my allies in Poland, so it makes it possible for me to get troops in there to help out with that as well. And that's saying August of 2011. So if we keep this up, maybe we can stage a coup a year and start to change the face of Europe that way a little bit. In the meantime, things are going pretty well in India. We're working our way down toward Mumbai. In fact, I've just about taken all the objectives that I set out recently, and we've also kind of pushed up here to where we've almost taken this territory. So I'm going to have to set some new goals for my military. And there we go, offensive line. We're going to push down to where it gets a little easier. And I'm thinking by the time we take Mumbai and this Hyderabad, those two I think may be enough to get India out of the war. If not, then certainly when we add this area over here, that is Kolkata, that's the one that was recently nuked. In the meantime, we've got a couple other things we need to do here. We're upgrading our main battle tank. So this is a huge one here. We're going to the Leopard 2A6 instead of the Leopard 2A5. And there's a lot of tanks that I have out in the field, so it's obviously going to take a while to upgrade all of those. The other thing I have going is I did start to build some new destroyers. It's going to take a while to get that up to speed. In fact, we'll slow down our missile cruisers in favor of more destroyers. And then last, we're still way behind on that. Let's take a look and see where our support battalions are, because we can start upgrading some of those. Alright, let's continue south in India and see how this goes. Made a slight mistake, and I'm rectifying it now. This middle group right here, Army 3, is actually the force that's supposed to be preparing to support the coup. We're going to make that the Italian front so we keep track of it. And I accidentally started to give them orders for here in India, so they started shipping out to India. This is actually my Indian army here. We're going to call that the IEF, the Indian Expeditionary Force. And then the rest of my divisions that I just got into place, we'll put them all as part of my home defense garrison. And we are pressing forward in India. It's going really well. Let's take a look and see where things are now. You can see we're right on the gates of Dubai. It looks like the Chinese may get there first, and that's totally okay. Things are still at only 10%, but that's going to change quickly. He's only got 2.78 fielded manpower, only 27 divisions left for India. I've been watching to see if any of the Canadian divisions show up. They're obviously fighting somewhere. It looks like they're fighting against Portugal. There's 14,000 casualties so far for the Canadians. Did they invade Portugal? Is that what's happening here? It doesn't appear so. So they're fighting somewhere else. Just not entirely sure where it is. Alright, we're going to keep an eye out here because I believe that very soon we're going to take Mumbai. Well, that's interesting. Belize has lost the war and surrendered. So perhaps that's where the fighting was going on between the Canadians and the Portuguese. I don't know. But somebody, Brazil went up and took Belize. Nice. Welcome to the fight, my friends from Brazil. That's pretty cool. It's nice to have Brazil and Portugal in on the same side together here in the war since they speak the same language. And it's nice to see Brazil get involved. I'd very much like to see them now use Belize as a jumping off point for an invasion of the United States. But I won't hold my breath about that. India, there it is. We took Mumbai. India has capitulated. They're now all showing up as Chinese, which is unfortunate because I really deserve a lot of the credit for that going down. India didn't seem interested in invading China, China didn't seem interested in invading India. All right, so now we can bring our troops home because there's really nothing else to be gained there. I guess maybe we start thinking about what's next. And what's next may be that I have to go get involved in Canada or the United States since they don't seem likely to want to do it themselves. So let's bring our troops home for now. We're just going to give them a garrison area somewhere to let them kind of get resettled. Actually, I got to delete all their old orders that they had. There we go. Let's bring them home. We've got our first amphibious assault ships. We've also got some free naval factories as well. Yeah, you know what I mean. We're going to take a look here now at land doctrine. I'm going to think about what I want to do next. Alright, so I'm working on advanced artillery. I got a bunch of research that's going to be done in the next 3 months here. In the meantime, we've got to think about once I get all these troops home, and they're in the process now of loading up and shipping out and coming back. The next thing we got to think about is the upcoming coup for India, and the problem is that because I screwed that whole thing up with sending the divisions to the wrong place, they're still not back. So I'm still waiting desperately for my troops to return, and I've got to look and see exactly where they are because it looks like they're not really. Yeah, here they come. So it's working slowly. I may have really messed myself up though because that coup is going to probably start before I get these troops back into position, so it may be a matter of having to send some of these garrison troops down. But we'll see. I believe that comes up here at the end of August. Yep, August 26th. Alright, looks like there's a new alliance on the block. Let's take a look at that. The North American Conference. So let's look at diplomacy for just a second here. We've got the African Coalition, which is just Belize and Eritrea. The North American Association, that's what it's called. So it's just the United States and Taiwan at this point. So Berlin Alliance is still the big one. London Pact just has the UK. It's an alliance of one. NATO just Canada and India, which basically means it's just Canada at this point. And CSTO is just Russia and Tajikistan. Alright, we're about 2 weeks away from this big coup going down. My troops are not going to be back in time for that. So we most definitely are going to need to make alternate plans. So for now, I'm going to delete all orders. And we're going to rush the garrison troops down here to the border with India. And we're going to have to use them to get this done. So right here you can see where all my troops are. They're all in this kind of long string of ships moving up and through the Red Sea currently and making their way up so that they can get up across the Suez Canal. They're going to get through the Mediterranean and eventually land up here right near Italy. But in the meantime, we're going to have to make this happen with these other troops, and Italy has very few troops on the border. So this is going to go down here in just a couple of days. Whoa, what is going on here? We failed to stage the coup in Italy. It failed due to the low political support for our ideology. All instigators were caught by police and executed. You know what? I'll be honest with you, I have never had a failed coup before. At least not at that stage. Usually the coup happens and then it gets crushed by the army. But that's the first time I've ever had it happen that way. So back to square one, I guess. Maybe we just declare war on Italy. Right, let's see. Current wars are obviously this is the big one. The war with Argentina. Did it say Argentinian war? Really? Yeah, American-Argentinian war. That's kind of interesting that that's how it chose to put that. Fielded manpower, just 2.6 million at this point. The Americans have officially lost 1 million men in this war. Canada has still barely gotten involved. So I'm just trying to think about where to go from here. Do I involve another nation, or do I look for opportunities to try and fight the ones that exist, namely the United States and Canada? My real question is just how I would get the troops over there without running into issues with the Navy. Maybe we can get Mexico involved. So they're socialists, so I doubt they're going to come in on our side. Alright, decisions to be made there. I think for now, though, we just ignore Canada. And we're going to go after Italy, because I don't think Italy is going to put up much resistance. And you can see my manpower is actually going up. It's happening slowly, but it is happening. So thank you guys for those of you who suggested to me that I just go ahead and do what I needed to do, and eventually it would happen. So we've got these Social Democrats here. They have no allies whatsoever. Obviously, they'll eventually join the U.S. right away. But let's go ahead and do this. We're going to justify war goal. We're going to conquer. And we'll start with Piedmont. 165 days. It won't take real long to get that going. In the meantime, I think most of my troops have gotten into position. There's a few still arriving. But almost all of my armies will be back on home soil very soon. Alright, we're into October of 2010. And I've done a couple of things here. Number one is I'm looking at construction, because I'm about to have a need once again for construction as I've built up these coastal forts and these land forts to a large degree. I'm just looking to see, there do appear to be some new openings for some buildings that I can put in here, just because I've done a few things to allow that. So that allows me to build some additional military factories as well, where I couldn't before. So we'll start queuing up some more of those. We're queuing up some more nuclear reactors, which is going to allow me to produce a whole bunch of nukes as soon as that technology is complete, which is going to be here in the next 2 weeks. So within a year, I should have a nice arsenal of nuclear weapons, and I do plan to use them. I'm looking at you, United States and Canada. The other thing I've done is I've started to start using my Navy to patrol the area between Germany and the U.S., the North Atlantic here, trying to start to clear the path for possible naval invasion when the time comes. But right now I'm still looking at Italy. That's going to happen in February, so probably not in this episode, maybe the next one, but I'm going to have to think long and hard about whether or not I want to actually do that, because I am a little bit concerned, at least, about the possibility of changing some sentiments in Europe, turning them against me if I invade another European power. In the meantime, our Navy is involved, and it looks like a combined Canadian and American force, and so far it's going really well for me, which is great because I've got 2 battle cruisers, 5 destroyers, actually 17 destroyers total, and then a number of subs. And the subs just seem to be lighting people up because I've already taken out 17 Canadian destroyers, actually 28, 30 now, 33 of them. I've lost 7 destroyers myself. I'm not losing any of my subs. It's mostly just surface ships that I'm losing. And here come some American carriers into this. So right now we're fighting for naval supremacy here, but I've got it pretty much everywhere else. So this naval battle is going to be important because as I start to take out his navy, it clears that path for an invasion, hopefully, in 2011 sometime. So we'll kind of be anxiously awaiting to see the final totals on all that. Alright, so it's October 25th, and it looks like this battle is largely over. Still got a couple of American carriers. I don't know how the Americans have so many carriers, because I've been sinking them like crazy. But they're carrier 1, so they're not exactly their best. But thus far, here's what we're looking at. We're looking at a total of, it looks like 50 Canadian 56 Canadian destroyers and 4 American destroyers sunk. I lost a battle cruiser. It was sunk by the USS Shiloh. But 10 destroyers and 1 submarine. So it looks like the submarines are largely the ones that stay intact during all of this. I'm also about to get nuclear bombs. So the world is about to change as advanced artillery and nuclear bombs come on the scene for me. Which of course is going to mean some upgrades on my part. There it is. And there comes our new little timer with nuclear bombs. We have 10 nuclear reactors. And our first nuke will be done in just over a month. But we also have more nuclear reactors coming. Time to queue up rocket engines. And eventually we're going to get all the way down here. It's going to get us advanced guided missiles. And we're just going to put those nukes on some ICBMs. Take it up a notch. But, alright, what are we looking at here? We're looking at an upgrade in artillery. We don't have a lot of artillery out there, so it's not going to take very long to upgrade them. Alright, so that battle's finally over. I may need to kind of ramp up my naval presence here, although I do have a clear path. Well, I did. It's going back and forth. So I'm going to have to get some more naval ships queued up. I'm going to go ahead as well with construction and see if are there any dockyards. Whoa, what's going on here? Now, there's something you don't see every day. Wait, China invaded Vietnam? Is that what happened here? They declared war on Vietnam. Okay. Well, let me finish what I was doing real quick. Queue up a couple more of those naval factories. And now, let me see exactly what has gone down here. So who have we added? We've added... Okay, Austria's in. Austria jumped in on the African coalition, which contains Eritrea, Belize, and Austria, and now Vietnam is in the North American Association with the United States. So my goodness. All right, so I guess we're going to forget about Italy for now because Austria just jumped into this thing, and I have nobody on the border with Austria. So we're going to rush our troops over there and deal with Austria quickly, as they're going to immediately start probably moving into southern Germany. So I've got to stem that tide before it gets too far. Yeah, I know. I'm coming, Austria. Don't get too excited. Let's see, that's these guys here. So the other thing I need to do is deal with my technology. We'll go there. Let's do this. We've got some units that are in the process. They're not quite there yet. Some infantry divisions. We'll go with those. And we're going to assign them to these units that are here. Get a little more help down on the Austrian border. Alright, and let's see if we can quickly get over there before Austria moves too far into southern Germany. Because, man, they're pushing fast. They're up near Stuttgart already. But quickly, this is not going to go well for them. Alright, boom. Let's enter Austria. That's about as far as they're going to get. Alright, we've got some major changes that need to be made to trade. Alright, problem solved. Wow, Austria made it quite a bit of the ways into Germany here. I think what I'm going to probably have to do is pull some of these garrison units down as well. And just kind of expand the area that they're garrisoned to. some of them are going to start moving down and help with this. But I should be okay. It's just a matter now of putting a stop to... You know what? He ain't messing around. Let's take a look. I don't want him getting up into Berlin and Frankfurt and Cologne. So we're going to have to pull the troops off the Italian border as well. And get them up here. And we're going to quickly march on Vienna as soon as I put a stop to his advance. Oh my... What? Was that China? That had to have been China. China just nuked Vienna, Austria. What is going on right now? Nuclear warfare has entered Europe. Wow. He took half my territory, or at least a third. Alright, you're done, Austria. You're done. Got another naval battle that happened out here. I took out 2 American battle cruisers, 3 destroyers, at the loss of 1 destroyer for myself. Excellent. Alright. My manpower has gone down significantly because I've lost about 30,000 men, it looks like. Got another naval combat happening. Well, that one quickly ended, I guess, as soon as it began. Alright. Austria's advance into southern Germany has been ground to a halt, but they did actually take Frankfurt. And oh man, I've got a number of divisions that are actually surrounded right now. That is not good news. That could put a big dent in my army. Okay, we've got a pathway open to them now. Man, that could have been disastrous. Austria's got 60 divisions. So I have lost 240,000 men now. Alright, alright. Things are going to start turning around finally. Now, Taiwan has joined the African coalition. That one's becoming popular. Wow, wow, wow. That was crazy. I never expected Austria to jump in unprovoked like that. Alright. We'll wait and see what happens now that we start moving the borders back. Another nuke just hit Vienna. I keep wanting to say Vienna because here in Ohio we actually have a town called Vienna and it's pronounced that way. But Vienna just got nuked a second time. That's got to be coming from China. I don't think anybody else could be doing that unless it's France. It could be France. I didn't think about that. So it looks like we've got some Brazilian units in here fighting. We've got France. We've got Portugal. And we have started moving the line back. It's just happening slowly, unfortunately. All right, we got a little bit of an issue with air superiority here. Which we will quickly resolve. There we go. I'm coming for you, Vienna. We're coming for you. We got to get back all the way down to here. Munich is well inside Austrian territory right now. But things are going back in the right direction. Let's take a look real quick and just see what the numbers look like. Okay, my losses are up to 244,000. He's taken almost a fourth of my victory points. But Vietnam looks like it's starting to fall to China. Austria's lost 55,000 men so far. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what's happening over here. Yeah, so China's marching down. They're going to just kind of deal with the peninsula here in Vietnam. But again, all of this started with Taiwan, which still remains independent. And it's interesting that Japan has stayed out of this so far. I'm a little surprised that they've lasted that long. But they have. Alright, things are moving quickly now. I would imagine sometime here in the winter, within a month or two, I should pretty well have taken Austria out of this war. We've just encircled a bunch of his divisions. My forces are moving now on all fronts and moving quickly. We'll have Munich back in no time, and we'll eventually be marching into Austria itself. I've also got my first nuclear weapon. Now the question is, am I able to drop it yet? No, because I don't have at least one strategic bomber in place. Now I did just now start queuing up some bombers, but that's going pretty slowly so far. But we're going to go ahead and create. We don't have any of them yet. So I think I have bombers already. The question is, where are they? No, I guess I don't. I don't have any strategic bombers. I've got 618 naval bombers, 800 fighters, and that's it. So we've got to get those bombers, that production, going here. Ho! Look at that. Our delegation has been elected to the United Nations Security Council as one of the representative nations of our region. We can now veto Security Council decisions. Not that that's going to happen. But, alright, so we're producing like 2 a month right now. So we're going to have to get that going a little more than that, I think. Alright, in the meantime, I'm probably not going to need to nuke Vienna because I'll overrun them so soon. I say by the end of January, this thing's probably over. Alright, so a couple of things happening here. Number one, we're just about ready to take Vienna, and with it, I would imagine, the conquest of Austria will be complete as we just kind of zero in on the last of his remaining units. The other thing that's happened, as you can see, my manpower is finally starting to go up. Significantly. It's up to 1.5 million, and it continues to grow. So that's some really good news, really helpful news, and I think my troops have largely stopped here, so we're going to actually tell them to go ahead and push through to Vienna, because I think as soon as we take Vienna, this war's over. And with that, I've also got almost 2 nuclear weapons. I've got my first already. We're not going to drop one, but I just want to see yet. Okay, I haven't put my bombers into service yet. There it is. Austria has capitulated. We captured some equipment, but they are out of it. So thank you, Austria, for doing what I had not done, which was to give me a reason to conquer you. So now we'll get reset, kind of settled, and just kind of get everything back into position. I did cancel my justification against Italy. I just didn't need a reason for them to jump in while I was trying to clean up the mess with Austria. So we'll get kind of reform everybody, let them start building back up, and start building up these nukes, which right now I've got 10 nuclear reactors. I've got a few more queued up. And then we're going to turn our sights to the west. And it looks like France has actually begun an invasion of Canada, which may make my job a whole lot easier if that happens. So that's a great place to stop. A lot happened in this episode. We took India out of the war. We took Austria out now as well. And now we're going to turn our sights to the Western Allies. So please use the comment section below. Let me know what you think. Comments, criticisms, observations, praises, whatever it might be. Hit that thumbs up if you want to see more. Check out some of the other videos, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching.